2025
Yes.
is the last year of the first quarter of this century.
That's so it's one of those contextual things you don't think about, but once you say it, it's like, oh.
Yeah. So what I did is I said, you know what? What happened between 1900 and 1925?
A lot.
What happened between 1800 and 1825? What happened between 1700 and 1725? Between 1600 and 1625, we landed here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So when I look at the history of America specifically,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a big history buff, so don't ask me
Not quoting you.
to give me the exact eras for the exact years for Reconstruction. But what I know
Yes.
is that if you look at the centuries,
Yeah.
the first 25 years kind of set the tone for the next 75 years. In every century so far, you can almost look at the first 25 years and see the most impactful thing, right? When I look at Black people in America, 1900 to 1925 birthed all Black fraternities and sororities,
Mm-hmm.
birthed so many HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't come into the fold until grad school.
Yeah.
Anybody in the Black Greek Association.
Right.
It took me a while.
Yeah.
Number one, I ain't wear a suit and tie till I was 32. Because I just grew up being told that was the white man's uniform. So it took me a while to wear a suit and tie. Just a tie. Like the noose, I was young revolutionary, boy.
Right.
I was free the land, free the people, the whole thing. And it wasn't until I began to do history, research, and I just didn't realize that the Du Bois talented 10th of the souls of Black folks in this conversation with Booker T, I never connected Du Bois as an alpha to Black Greeks. It was just an elite idea.
Right.
And then I was like, wait a minute. So in real life, without these Black Greeks as fraternities and sororities, the educational level of Black people would not be where it is in 2000 without 1900 to 1925.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of these unspoken names, however you feel about Black Greek fraternities and sororities and organizations, whether you like them, whether you don't, whether you feel like going too far away from Africa, all of the critique, because I got people asking, well, how are you a Q and you? Like, how you, I'm saying because I'm the Bruz, and the Bruz could be everything they want to be at the same time, right? But when you look at it, we just wouldn't be where we are as a people, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, without the efforts of all those unspoken names who had found their tribe.
Yeah.
And who joined together to make sure this person got enrolled in this school, this person got fed, this family got taken care of, this person got their homework, got their books. Like when you look in the history of it, it held us up.
Yeah.
That unified us through World War I and World War II. That was our bond.
Yeah.
Our social clubs, all of that came from that. And it carried us through the 60s. So
I like the analysis, though, of the quarter century as a signaling of what the rest of the century is going to look like. Because actually, I would say that you're right about that first quarter of the 20th century. And I would throw in there UNIA.
Listen, I was going to let you do that.
I'll throw it in the UNIA. And I would say that, the UNIA first, of course, being birthed in Kingston, Jamaica, but then having its full flowering in the U.S. In Harlem.
It was all of that stuff was in the same time.
Same time period. And the Harlem Renaissance, all of this. And so I would dare say that coming out of Reconstruction in the first part of that, the 20th century, Black America was the most organized it's ever been up to that point in American history.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's ever been.
Right.
In fact, there's a falling away by mid-century.
Yep.
Because of complacency that was happening.
And integration.
In the North, primarily. And so it's a good analysis.
White man's ice is colder.
Oh,
let's go get the white man's ice.
Absolutely.
I don't want this warm ice in the Negro neighborhood.
Yeah, it's too hot. And so the question is this: what have you seen happening in this century, in this first quarter of this century, that you think signals to us what's to come?
I think several things happened on both sides. Donald Trump came into office in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and he came right back in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's not a sign for what the American people want for themselves and their country, and I didn't say white people, I said the American people.
Right.
For me, that's a clear sign for what what we find, what we value as leadership.
Mm.
Or it's a clear sign that we're afraid, or it's a clear sign that we just ignorant as hell. And we don't know nothing.
Understood.
It needs to open up people's minds about how far and how much of the minority Black people are in America, right? We don't really think about it because you think about the votes and this gap. And you're just like, yo, if just 10% or more white people voted and all voted because the white, like we would never win. You know, the whole voting thing is one thing. So I think that's one thing.
Sure.
I think the other thing is that between 2020, 2025, specifically in these last 5 years.
Yeah.
And UNIA was what year?
When 2014? Sorry, 1914.
1914.
Yes.
So that was in the last how many years?
110.
No. The last how many years of the first quarter of that century? It was the last 10 years.
Yes. Yes.
That's where the UNIA came.
Yes.
We're in the last 10 years of this century.
Yes.
Right now, what's happening is the biggest, boldest, most colorful, flashiest Back to Africa movement since Marcus Garvey. I'm going to say even bigger than the 60s. Because the 60s wasn't necessarily, I don't think, about back to Africa as much as it was hands off of Africa. Because the 60s was, okay, our African brothers and sisters are getting their independence.
Right.
So if they getting their independence, you guys got to give us our rights.
Exactly.
We were kind of going through that together.
Exactly.
But when it comes to coming back to Africa,
yeah,
we moving back to Africa, we traveling back to Africa. You can look at Afro beats.
Yes.
How that's taken over the world. You can look at jollof rice, how that's taken over the world. You can look at how everybody has an African flint and proud of it. That's even different for me. When I grew up, 1970, I was born in 75. I'll be 50 this year. From 75 to 85, 90, I was an African booty scratcher. It's changed. I can only imagine brothers and sisters who were born in Africa, had the accent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still had some of that Ghana dust on them when they when they got to the U.S.
Yeah.
And how they got treated in public schools because we ain't know no better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just 25 years ago, you was an African booty scratcher.
Right.
Now 25 years later, everybody want an African booty scratcher husband.
Yeah, it's a fam.
I got to go get me one of them Nigerians
Exactly.
or one of those Ghanaians.
Exactly.
And I got to go to Ghana.
Right.
I got to buy some property there. Girl, you see my new Ankara print? I only use shea butter and cocoa. I mean, just literally everything in our communities, even from the biggest brands, Shea Moisture and all of those, is coming to Africa. And it's now, over the next 3 or 4 years, I can almost bet you, you're going to see more Black people migrate here than before. And I believe, like I was telling you in the beginning with the year of return, we just needed to get people to come.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, and I was like, for me personally, this is my year to pop out and show niggas. Like for me now as an individual, I'm saying, okay, what have I put in place to organize my people?
Right.
Now, as opposed to me just talking shit, now I can exemplify and model and show you what it is that I'm doing. Not saying that everybody got to do it that way,
Right.
but would you say who's going to do the work? Who's serious? When is the work going to get done and how?
Show and prove.
Show and prove.